one very important skill a data analyst must have is the ability to organize data. There are various or several techniques a data analyst could use to organize data. But in Microsoft Excel here, we'll be looking at two crucial techniques. Number one, filtering. Number two, sorting. So let us use this sample data set here to begin with the first technique, which is the filtering technique. So there are several conditions you could use to filter data by. Those conditions will be determined by your filtering goals or what your objectives for filtering your data are. So, but the first objective here is that we want to filter to display transactions with a quantity greater than 10. Okay, we have transactions here, right? We have quantity in a column D. So we want to filter to ensure that we can only see transactions that have quantity greater than 10. So the first thing we have to do is to select the entire data set. In this case, this is small data set. You will go to your data tab on your ribbon. Then you navigate to the sort and filter group and then click on filter. So when you click on filter, you will notice the drop down by the side of every column header. In this case, in ID, we have this drop down. In dates, we have a similar drop down, product, quantity, and price. But our goal here is to filter using the quantity column. Okay, so we then go to the quantity column because that is our goal. We will deselect all of these and then click on numbers filter. You realize that we have several conditions here that we could use to filter our data sets by. We have equals, does not equal, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, between, top 10, above average, below average rather, and we can also customize our filter. So our original goal was to do what? Was to filter our data set, right? Using our quantity column to determine transactions greater than 10, the quantity of 10. So we'll be looking at the greater than here. We'll click greater than. So we could just go ahead now. We can go ahead rather and say greater than 10 and we use 10, right? When this is done, we click OK and we see that our transactions have been filtered. We have all quantities here greater than 10. So we are filtered through. And to know that this was filtered, you realize that we don't have row 2, neither do we have 3. We have 1, 4, 5, 11, 12, and 13. So basically, what happened was that the other rows that did not meet our criteria for filtering are hidden, right? Okay. So we can basically clear this filter to have our entire data set, then begin the process again using other goals, basically. So we clear the filter. When we clear the filter, we have everything out back. So again, a quick recap. We highlighted our data or range. We went to data. Then in the sort and filter group, we clicked on filter. You see that this filter is still highlighted. If for any reason you uncheck this filter, the filter buttons will be taken out. So for instance, watch this now. We click and the filter buttons are gone. We come back, we put it back, and it is there. So let us look at other conditions, basically. We click on the quantity column again, and we uncheck all. Then we say number filters, and we come to number filters and the conditions of number filters, and we say equal to. Equal to is used when you want to get the exact, let's say we are looking for transactions by quantity that is equal to 8. If we say equal to 8, you see that if we click OK now, you see that all will be equal to 8, if that was our goal, okay? Now you realize that it is actually based on the conditions you want to filter by. So let us go back to the filter button, then we clear filter from quantity, and we have our data set back. If you have realized, if you find out that there are different conditions there, let's look at it again one more. We go, we say number filters, and we look at it. Whether we say equals, whether we say does not equal, whether we say greater than, you basically try your hands on this. But you realize something. Let's look at here now. Let's say equals. Now let's go to equals and see. Now let's take notes. Let's take note here about this section. You see that we have equals, right? And we have and, or, right? They are logical statements rather that can help us add more conditions. And I want you to realize that you could also pick different, okay? Let's say you made a mistake and you didn't want to say equals, you wanted to say does not equal is greater than or less than. You could just click the drop down and select what you really want. Okay, so now let's work with equals. So you see now that if we say, let us try this out, and you see, if we say equals, right, and we say equals 8, okay, then we want to add another condition here. We say and, right, let's say less than, right, equals 8 and less than, let's say, less than 7, all right? So you see, it's going to give us a result that will be between these two conditions because we use the and statement. Okay, let's see our results. You see, when you use the and statement, so it will be equals 8. Let's go back and see. It will be equals 8 and less than 7. But if we do the same thing and use the or, it's going to give us either of, right? It's going to give us either of the results. Either equals to 8, either equals to 8, or less than 7. So these two conditions must not be met. If one, say, equals to 8 is met, we will have our result. If less than 7 is met, we will also have our results, like what you see here, right? So we have less than 7, 0 here is less than 7, and we have 8, right? You see, okay, so you understand it now, right? All right, so we could go ahead in your time of practice, you could basically use other conditions and see how it works. A quick recap here now. Let us clear these. Let us clear this filter and go back to number filter. We say equal to, and we say if you use the and, both conditions must be met. If you use the or, either of the condition is met, right? It's either this or this. All right. Okay.